All right, I think we're going here. Yeah, okay. I just don't like looking at myself and then it freaking did that. Okay. So it's been a little bit. I've been really super busy and trying to get things squared away. Anyway, big news, and I wanted to talk about is Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, and there's been a long going joke that maybe she'd already been dead, and they're like keeping her alive. I never wish death on anybody or ill will, but this person, she's some of her rulings are not very conducive to just a Christian lifestyle or whatnot, or just basic principles, and she definitely was not a constitutionalist for sure. But anyway, so she's gone. We don't have to get into that. What really matters is the epic battle that we're going to see here, because now we're in crunch time for the election. T minus under 2 months. Where what's going to happen. Usually these things take a little bit of time to vet candidates, and I wish we'd get like another Gorsuch. If we got another one of those, that'd be awesome. If we got a chance at another one of those, but I don't know if that's going to actually happen. Well, it looks like they're going to do female to female, because now we're at the point in our republic where the precedent is now the rule. So we're not talking about we're talking about both semi ideologically, but more so ethnically. And it seems like it's like, well, if ethnically or gender, okay, so now that we lost a female off the court, that it seems like we're going back to where we have to put a female on the court. Which, why don't we just? It's asinine, and you should just put a good person that's qualified on there that is a constitutionalist. We got not another Kavanaugh, for God's sakes. We need a Gorsuch. Hopefully, I haven't vetted these two supposed picks, and Trump's going out officially here the next a few days, I think Friday or Saturday with it. But the crunch time, they're going to have to move quick. But we'll see what happens. We know that this happened once before, but there's a lot longer time frame under Obama, and that didn't go through. I think it was Garner on that one. Anyway, Eric Garner? Yeah, something like that. But you're going to see some craziness. Sounds like impeachment for what? I don't even know. How can you have a second impeachment for? I don't even know what you're talking about. This is getting absolutely crazy. But you're going to see even more craziness. And then if you ever had hopes of another stimulus bill, which is not a good thing to begin with, but it seems to be pretty uniform that the American people want one that, the mainstream Keynesian MMT type economists want that. They want another stimulus. They want even more debt outside of just monetary policy. It looks like that's going to be in jeopardy as well, because this is going to be tied in with more, the political leanings, which I've already seen that. It looks like they were trying to, these deals have been held out for the election, but it's also now going to be held out because of RBG replacement. And it's all politics. It's kind of, there's other things going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing, and of course if you watch the Alphabet Network, it just seems like politics. Oh, one other thing, there was that George Soros thing. You see those clickbait things on Facebook. I think the Blaze had one. I was like, somebody gets cut off for saying George Soros' name in Fox News or something like that, and then you look at it, it's like, okay, Newt Gingrich is the one that said it. First off, if that guy's about as sleazy as it can possibly be, he's part of the swamp. And if you really care about that, yeah, George Soros, he's of upper middle management of whatever you want to call the world order. And it's just like whenever, conspiracy theory becomes conspiracy fact, or those conspiracies start being illuminated as, there's some realism and underneath there's some truth to it. It seems like some names are thrown out there, and then it becomes like a mainstream Republican deal. And George Soros happens to be one of those. Now, there's definitely some truth to a lot of the things that happen, but now they can't really hide the truth because it's out there, so it's like, might as well just throw this guy's name in there. Same thing, if you remember back in the day when the Tea Party first started, which we don't even go into that, but that was like a revolution in the conservative movement. It was like a libertarian-leaning conservative. They're interrupting the typical Republican ideology. What happens? Well, immediately, or within, I don't know, a couple of months, when they realize this isn't going away, here you go, here's Karl Rove, the champion of him and Newt, pretty much the champions of mainstream Republican, check pants Republican golf course, him, Rush and all those guys start using that term, Tea Party. They totally subjugated the whole movement by changing vocabulary and utilizing it in interviews or whatnot. And you see some of the similar natures here. So I didn't even look. I looked at that. I was like, this is absolutely craziness. Yeah, George Soros is like a horrid person, and he's tied to a lot of horrid things and funding, but he's just a middle manager. And now that he's mainstream, now I always question, like, well, okay, well, what's the real story? Because obviously, if this is out on like a Fox News type thing, that there's something else there. Then let's go to the markets. I know I've already dragged that along. I'm trying to keep this stuff quick, but some of this stuff needs to go into a little bit. I'm trying to get people to think a little outside the box. So don't just listen to some of these guys like on that Soros thing. Look underneath it. It wasn't really that big a deal. There's a lot of other things that are going on that are just absolute craziness if you look around the world. And then, but if you just look at who's really running things, I mean, you never hear about Rothschild type things or these large institutional banks or these huge trusts or whatnot. But let's go into something else. Okay, markets. I don't have, at this point, there's really no fundamentals here. We already know that it's purely a monetary and fiscal phenomena that's going on. We know that the small business now has been almost completely, about as absolute as you can, cripple it, because there's always going to be some remnants, and you can't defy economic laws as much as socialism as you can possibly put in this. But with these lockdowns or whatnot, which is the pin that caused the bubble to pop, you're at almost complete devastation of small business. To a certain degree. Of course, there's still more to go, but this is the most I think we've ever seen. The numbers are faulty on, the unemployment. Furloughed workers are not coming back. There's a lot of craziness, and what is it? Like I said, these are monetary and fiscal phenomena. But if we look at the markets itself, the levels that they're at are absolute insanity. Just the fact that you can. And people are, let's change that. People are crying about small moves, which is insanity when you're at these levels. So the other day yesterday there was about a 2% something sell-off. Absolutely nothing. Numerically, yes, a large number, or it's like a 1 to 2% sell, because I think it rallied back at the end. I just stopped paying attention at the end of the day. I'm just like, all right, this is what's happening. All right, cool. I'm hedged the way I want to be hedged. I'm ready for the move. I'm ready. I have my theories, and I'm doing fairly well off of them. But this is this 1 to 2% move. People are losing their minds over it, and it's like that's nothing. We haven't even hit it like barely a solid correction. You want to see? I look at percentage moves, not the fact that you move 500 points at these levels. That's nothing. Get a 3, 4, 5% move, then you can start talking or whatnot. But that should be the norm almost, with how much money is being pumped in there and sloshing around, because people are not investing in themselves. Like I always tell you at the end of my videos, hey, look at for yourself, invest in yourself, do something productive for yourself, because that's the only way that we can really save ourselves and get out of this. But there's hardly anywhere else for all the sloshing money to go, so it's in the market. So I'm surprised that we don't have even more volatile moves from money just sloshing around, because a lot of it's right now still sitting, just like after the 08 thing, there's all this money printing, a lot of it's still sitting in the banking system, and we haven't had the fractional reserve inflation that we perhaps will see, especially if we do get another stimulus or whatever. You're putting checks, your helicopter money essentially. But then we haven't seen. There's a lot of supply destruction. There's a lot of demand destruction. There's a lot of interesting things going on, but it eventually you have to just start looking out for yourself on that. But anyway, here's how I play it. I mean, I look at things in the market, like what is something that you can't get away from, because look at all these stable industries that you used to see, like oil, which real estate. I've been devastated in that within the last few, this year. But there's other things that are out there, and I don't want to say because I don't want to get in trouble, but I play certain things that are almost guaranteed. I look at the market moves up, and I'll give you a clue. The market will move up and down. So how do you play that? Well, you can play it by understanding levels, understanding instruments that are used for these larger moves and trading them, and then also with your monetary theory, which is, or my monetary theory, and really good gold and silver stocks. So I got a couple of really good ones that have done really well this year, and then playing options around them, and then of course physical stuff. But Okay, now let's go on the other thing. So, I'm in my mid 30s. I'm single. I got a child or whatnot, but I've tried to get back out in the world, and it's just devastating. This is something else. This is actually kind of hilarious. We're going to get into some other things and other videos. I should have probably split it up, but I really don't care. But internet dating, I've tried these dating apps, and it is the debauchery that is on there is absolutely insane. It's hard to talk to anybody. I go to the gym, nobody talks. Now, back in the day, 10 years ago, you go to a gym or whatnot, and you can strike conversations up with people. You can strike conversations up with people elsewhere in different circumstances, grocery stores. You go to a bar or whatnot. Now, nobody talks. Everybody has earbuds, and nobody will say anything. They're in their own damn world. But, so you try these internet dating things. I shit you not. I went on one, and I went through about 50 profiles, and not one of them was underweight. What I mean is, all of them were overweight to obese. Absolutely disgusting. And I'm supposed to, be the one that's proving myself to these people. This is absolutely insanity. I see some women around that are, decent looking and are in shape, but for the most part, there are so many obese people that I see around. It is crazy. And that's a mental thing a lot of times. And just to me, I look at it as like all these damaged people. A lot of them are on there. And then I've been on a couple of internet dating sites in the past. And then I'm going on there and I see like the same person. They're 38. Or some of them have like 5 kids or whatever. I'm looking for something serious. Or some of them are like 36 or whatever, and they don't have kids, and I don't know yet. It's like, what is going on with the world? I feel like I'm in a la-la land. I have no idea is there any place for a man that, it's semi in shape, that's accomplished? Where is that? Because I'm not settling for that kind of crap. It's like, what happened to the America, or this, the roles that I'm used to or we were raised. It's like, this is complete insanity. Everybody's broken. And then I could just imagine what it's like on the other side of that. But so I've got a couple of them, and I think I've got about 100. I've got a lot of matches. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't, and I've had that experience before. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of matches now. But going through them and actually, vetting them out is pretty interesting, because you go and you see these people and they're trying to put their best foot forward. One, I'm vet out. I know it's superficial, but yeah, if you're overweight, you need to work on you first before you're out there, and that's the way I look at it. That's a character flaw, and that's something you need to work on. And I need to be physically attracted to the person I'm going to be with. So I vet that out. Then you got other people that have, you got a couple kids or whatever. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm not even going to deal with that, because I've had other, issues with getting attached to the kids or whatnot. But at a point, I'm just like, I'm just not going to deal with that. So you kind of vet a little bit. Maybe you meet them. Here's the other thing. So even the ones I think are in shape, so you go out and you go have a drink with them, right? You go meet them. Well, they've just done fancy photography. They got the greatest headshot in the world. It makes them look all thin and whatnot. They got a picture from 15 years ago when they had a smoking bod. Then you show up and they look like they swallowed a freaking tire. They're the Michelin Man. And they got more war paint on than, than a damn Geronimo. But I am totally in awe of what's going on with it. In fact, I'm going to start doing some videos on this just to help guys out, because I don't know if you guys are experiencing this kind of thing, or you guys are just like biting the bullet, because I know guys that do it. They'll sleep with anything, they'll go for anything. Or are you in my world where I'm like looking at like, oh man, like I'm going to have to go almost not purposely monk, but just like to look for somebody that's just like, you don't have to be the most beautiful woman in the world, but just like be in shape, be well read, and be able to have a conversation, be able to joke around and take a joke. Like if you have personal demons, you're dealing with them, talking to some therapist, or reading about it, or doing something, instead of like, everything has happened to me. You set me for who I am. I'm thick, and this is the way I am. Oh yeah, I have 5 kids with 4, 5 dads, or whatever the hell. And I'm independent, and I want to settle down. I don't know what to tell you. This is complete and utter insanity where we're in. It's like the republic. Not only this is like part of the decay. And I would, if you listen to a guy, he's what is he, Asshole Consulting? Listen to that dude too. Like I'd take some pointers from that guy because yeah, he's on the front edge of a lot of this on the personal front for sure. Anyway, I'm gonna cut it right there because I think we're at 15 minutes. I'll talk to you later, and remember, take care of yourself. Don't get too involved in the macro. Take care of yourself and things around you, and better yourself. Produce, and we'll talk to you later.